I have always enjoyed Ashley Judd as an actress, but today I love Ashley Judd as an individual, as a human being, and for the love of God, as a woman. She wrote an article on the Daily Beast, and she wrote this article in response to a lot of conversation, media conversation, that was had in response to her having, quote unquote, a puffy face in an interview she did back in March. And she talks about how, under the microscope, her appearance is, under the microscope, women's appearance in general is on a regular basis, and how often that conversation is had not just men about women, but women about women. You know, in her situation, so many of the journalists that she has basically had a decent relationship with over the years, so many of those quote-unquote journalists were the first to jump into the fray of the conversation, talking about or speculating on why her face was so puffy. And she goes on to list all of the different ways that she finds herself under attack, saying that normally she ignores much of this conversation, but in this case, many of her friends and family encouraged her to actually listen to what was happening and potentially respond. And, she said that, when she has a puffy face because she's taking medication and is on steroids, then there is a litany of plastic surgeons brought in and everyone speculates about clearly the work she's had done. If her face appears flawless at her 43 years of age, then there is another list of plastic surgeons brought in to list off what she has absolutely had done. If her face now in 2012 doesn't look exactly as it did back in 1998 when she filmed Double Jeopardy, then there is a whole slew of what has she done to herself. If she changes her size, if she goes from her typical 2 to 4 up to a 6 because she's not exercising, then everyone rails about what she's doing to herself and what's happened, and boy, her husband, he might leave her for a better model. The idea that her appearance is the only thing keeping her husband with her is absurd. I have to say that I agreed with just about everything she was saying in this article. It's horrifying to me that no one seemed to listen to, or barely anyone could tell you what her interview was about. What was Ashley Judd talking about? I remember she was on the sidelines during March Madness. But was anyone paying attention to what it was she had to say? Or was everyone too fixated on her appearance? And why do people do this to women? Why is the appearance so important? Why do we hold up standards that are ridiculous and tear women apart? I find it absurd. And I have to say that I am exceptionally proud of Ashley Judd, if proud is the right word, for standing up and saying that these are standards that are unacceptable. And I was particularly disturbed by at least one of the comments that said that Ashley Judd, like many others in her space, are paid to look good for the camera. No, Ashley Judd is paid to be an actress. She's paid for her craft. She's paid to be talented, not so that people can look at her and say she's beautiful. That's why she gets paid to do what she does.